Welcome back to Irons United for what is our second pre-season review, and West Ham unfortunately have just been beaten by Manchester City in the Premier League Asia Cup semi-final, 4-1. Quite a convincing victory for Manchester City. And let's just remember, guys, it's only pre-season. It's West Ham's second game in pre-season. And yes, okay, it's Manchester City's first game. They had problems on the way out to China. But it is pre-season, and you'll see when I go through the review, the changes in the team, both teams throughout the game. And what was a reasonably kind of decent game, to be honest, even though we were beaten 4-1. I think it served its right, and it gave the teams the run out they both needed. It let maybe Pellegrini see the players that are in his squad that he needs to either bring on, keep, or potentially sell. So I think it was an exercise that's going to benefit West Ham in the long run. And as long as you don't jump the gun and think, oh my word, we've been beaten 4-1 by Man City and this is going to be the start to our season, you have to be mindful of the fact that pre-season is what it's designed for, to give players a run out, to let the manager and the coaches know what's left to do in the potentially rest of the summer transfer window, and to bring in strength and depth, to add value to the squad that they've got, to see where the fitness levels of the players are at. And it's the same for Manchester City. So we just have to be mindful of that. But what we'll do is we'll just go through a quick, brief review of the game. West Ham's starting lineup was Roberto, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Johnson, which was nice to see, Declan Rice, Noble, Jack Wilshere, Lanzini, Anderson, and Antonio starting up top himself. Manchester City's side was Bravo, Danilo, Angelino, Laporta, Harewood, Bellis, Rodrigo, David Silva, Doyle, Bernabe, Poveda, Ocampo, and Nemencha. And throughout the game there was quite a lot of changes, and early on in the game in particular there was actually decent chances from both teams. You know, both teams were finding their feet in the game. West Ham had driving forward a few times, Manchester City driving forward a few times. But fortunately for West Ham, in the 23rd minute, we got a penalty thanks to Felipe Anderson twisting Angelino inside out on the ball, and the ball came off the fullback's arm while he was on the ground. So West Ham awarded the penalty, and Mark Noble, Mr. Reliable, stepped up, put the ball in the back of the net, no problem at all, 1-0 West Ham. In the 30th minute, there was a second penalty appeal, but it was turned down, and it was from Fredericks, twisting and turning in the box, and it looked like there was contact from the Man City defender, but it was waved on, and they played on and didn't give West Ham the foul. From my view, I didn't see much of the repeat things, but it did look like a penalty, so it'll be interesting to see how VAR impacts decisions like that moving forward into the new season. In the 33rd minute, literally minutes later, David Silva lashed home a half volley. I'm very easy here to pass blame, and I will pass blame to someone like Ogbonna because he didn't track his striker. I've always had this problem with Ogbonna, generally, that he can play a game of his life and then he'll hit a run of 4 or 5 games where he's not that great in particular. And I really do worry moving into the season with Ogbonna because I think he's a weakness. I really do. I actually think it's been a weakness from day dot since we bought him. He has popped up with a really important goal and came around with some good games throughout. But I know this is pre-season and I've got to take that into consideration, but I've always had my concern about Ogbonna. Yes, okay, I am comparing him to David Silva, who's got a lot more pace and the quality that Manchester City have, but I'm concerned particularly about that. And then on the 35th minute, Ogbonna brought down Nemencha, and City had a chance to go ahead, which they did through that penalty, and it was a blatant penalty. So 2-1 to Manchester City. Half time, lots of substitutions. We've seen Hernandez come on, Yarmolenko and Snodgrass. And then obviously Kevin De Bruyne came on alongside Raheem Sterling, who again changed the game as he usually does. And straight away, or well, not straight away, but in the 59th minute, he had a smart finish. He beat the offside trap, which I think was touchwood again. VAR will be interested to see how those get rewarded. And he slotted past Roberto in the goal. 61st minute, another round of changes for both sides. Zabaleta came on, Creswell came on, Diangana came on, Obiang came on for Man City, Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Zinchenko and a few other players. So it was interesting to see how they would all fit in and come into the game in the humidity that is in China. And Raheem Sterling sneaked up and got another goal from a bit of tiki-tac play, and he got a second goal of the game. Hernandez had an opportunity late on with a free kick, and Yarmolenko followed up with a shot that hit the post and rebounded out. But unfortunately for West Ham, it wasn't enough to do anything in the game. Let us know your comments on the game if you watched it, and let us know your comments on particular, say, players like Ogbonna. I mean, what was the outcome of today's game? Would it give Pellegrini the opportunity to really review the squad again in a format against a Premier League team, albeit in the Asian Trophy Cup? Will it give him the insight, knowledge into what he needs to do and where the money needs to get spent? I'm adamant he knows where that money needs to be spent and what players he needs to bring in to strengthen the squad. But where do you see West Ham having to strengthen? What great news we have today about Sebastian Haller signing for West Ham for a record fee, which will hopefully make a big difference. But do you think we still need another striker on top of that, because we've only got him and Chicharito up top? The rumour that Obiang is talking to clubs in Italy. How did the players perform there? Sanchez didn't have a great game today, but to be fair, he's come off a long, strong, bad injury and he's just come back into the side. Do we give him the benefit of the doubt, or do we cut our losses and sell? You let me know, get your comments in below on players like Sanchez and Obiang. Yarmolenko played today, he had a run out, and what did you think of him? I thought he looked quite decent. I think he shows, again, it's pre-season, he's got to build up that core, that strong first team football, getting ready for 3 weeks time, which is Premier League football. We've got games coming in now. We've got Newcastle coming up for the third place playoff in this Asian trophy. So it will be interesting times ahead. Great news today regarding the signing, but we need to kind of push that to one side and move on again and go and get another striker through the line. Go and look at the midfield to see what we need to strengthen in that midfield department. And in particular, I think one thing for me is we need another strong centre half. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Winston Reid can prove everything I've said about him for a long time and come back to fitness and be that kind of ginge approach. Come in, step in when Diop and Balbuena potentially are injured or are suspended, and probably definitely need another strong centre half, because I really do panic. I really genuinely mean that. I worry about our defence if we're going to see games with Ogbonna. Feels like it's the Ogbonna attack. It's not. It's just I'm wanting to strengthen West Ham. I want West Ham to have the best ability. It's great that when you look through our side, from the wingers, the midfielders and the forwards, that you think there's goals and assists there. It's good, fine. You still need to score those goals, but equally you need to stop conceding. And West Ham have got a long record of conceding lots of goals, quite a lot of goals per game, in particular against sides like Man City. And in order to win these games, we need them to reduce their goals and us to score more. It's quite simple math. So we need to build from the back now, as well as look at maybe one more forward, because when I look at that midfield and that forward line, one more forward to that, I'm happy. We need to concentrate in the back line and get that all sorted. Let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Get commenting on all our shows. We are interacting with as much as we possibly can. Still throughout a video today related to Haller signing, so make sure you watch that. We'll put the link in the description above and below, so click on, watch them, watch all our videos. We are engaging with you guys. If any of you want to come on our show, let us know. Why not? We're West Ham fans at the end of the day. Exciting competitions coming up for you to win some of the new tops for the season, thanks to our partners at Umbro. Delighted to announce our partnership for a second season with the Supporters Club. We'll be filming lots of reviews at the Supporters Club moving into the next season, but please make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you are watching now, make sure you are subscribing, because we know there's lots more people watching than we have subscribers, so click that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell, which notifies you when a video comes up. I'm Anton, this is Irons United. Come on, you Irons.